Whoa. Okay. Lost that there. Whew. There it is. Good morning, guys. Yes, welcome to my first actual YouTube live, which is kind of cool. So I'll be talking to the cameras here. I'll actually be having my Instagram account as well because I do want to share this message with you guys and give you guys some updates on the NAR settlement, the National Association of Realtors settlement that has impacted the real estate, field in many different ways. But for the good, for the bad, for a lot of different things. But two things that I would tell you that I would consider, obviously, is the whole goal of the settlement is to bring a little bit more transparency to the table, from buyers to sellers to investors to everything. So it's actually kind of cool. I'm actually pretty excited that you know that this is happening more, because it allows us to continue to protect sellers and buyers and everybody out there. So this is actually exciting. So if this is you first time watching me, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. As I continue to get better with these live and these things, I want to continue just bringing people value. And I'm sorry, I'll be looking at the camera here pretty soon. I just again want to make sure that I go live as well on my Instagram account, so we can knock out what they say, two birds with one stone, right? Two birds with one stone. All right, here we go. So I don't know if somebody's watching me live, but again, this is my first time doing a live here on YouTube. So thank you so much for being here. If this is you first time in our channel, welcome. Thank you so much. We're thrilled and excited to share more with you, right? And give you a little bit more information about some of the things that we're trying to accomplish. And obviously with home expansion, we really just want to give you guys more information about these new changes. So let me go live here. 3, 2, 1, and I am live. Checking connection. Here we go. So guys, welcome. Your listing specialist Moises Rosales with the home expansion real estate team at EXP. Just wanted to jump on live to continue to bring you guys a little more insight, give you guys more information about how real estate is evolving. Now, there's a lot of talk out there, with this NAR, the National Association of Realtors, the settlement that was, that has been in the forefront of the real estate, industry for quite some time now. So a lot of changes have happened, and I want to kind of give you a quick review of what's happening, what to look out for, and what to expect. I think that with every industry, there's always going to be changes. There's always going to be an evolution of how business is done, and we've seen that in all practices, from lawyers to doctors to a lot of different things. So seeing something like this in the real estate market doesn't really, it's going to change of how we do business, but it's not necessarily a bad thing or a thing to look out for, where people are going to be leaving the industry. We just got to shift them how on the practices of how real estate is done from the consumer standpoint to the actual real estate professional and everything else. So excited to be here. If you're watching me live right now on YouTube, thank you so much. If you're online here with us, hello, say hello, welcome. I want to give you guys an insight of this National Association of Realtors settlement and how we need to work forward, right? I think the two words that I picked up was, we're going from what we call, let's focus on the buying side first. We're going from what we call an informal to a more formal way of approaching business, which makes a lot of sense. For a long time, buyers, will call me and say, hey, I want to go see this property. And as a good real estate agent, obviously I will ask what we call great questions to identify motivation, urgency, but most importantly, make sure that I can guarantee myself a future paycheck, right? That I'm working with the right person. So we would literally leave our home on a Sunday, during dinner for some of us, or, leave a special occasion event, or on a Monday, after, dropping off kids and practice, whatever it was, right? You will leave, drop everything to go show a property. And the reason you would do that as a real estate agent was because for a very long time, that was a common practice, is that somebody called, either through an online inquiry for sell sign, or, through one of your, paid ads, or even through your Instagram and social media platforms, right? And, or YouTube and things like that. And they will call you and say, hey, I want to go see this property. Can you show it to me? We knew that if we did not get up and go show it, you will call somebody else, and you will definitely go see those properties with somebody else. And we know that that's the case. That was how the common practice of real estate was. So we will get up, go show you this property with the intention for you to submit an offer, or to give you enough information to have the opportunity to work together to help you find your dream home, right? To give you access to resources like lenders and escrow companies, and information that will give you a better education of the entire buying process. We would do this on the buying side. We would do this no cost. We would do this for free. We would do this, with the expectation or the hope that you as a buyer will give us the opportunity to represent you, to go earn a commission. That's how business was done from the buying side. On the listing side, we would go into listing presentations, and we would talk to sellers about, obviously giving us the opportunity to sell their home, the things that we would do to actually sell the home. And we would negotiate what we called a commission to be able to sell their home. And we would negotiate a commission that then we were able to, as long as we disclose to the buyer, to the seller, disclose a commission, what we called a co-op, or a, give somebody else, or share a part of that commission to the other side, right? So as a listing agent, you will also negotiate your commission on one side, and you would take partial of that and offer what we call a compensation opportunity for another agent on the other side, right? Now, now that's also changed. So what does that mean? That means that a lot of things, the way that we move and how we're going to be moving, doing real estate moving forward, it's going to change as a whole for a lot of people. And for you as a consumer, you have to be ready for that change. Why? Because you're going to immediately see those changes take effect the moment that you walk into an open house, the moment that you call a for sale sign, the moment that you call or inquire online about a property. The response that you're going to receive might shock some of you guys, to be honest. And you'd be like, what is going on? Why do agents don't want to, help me or serve me or show me properties? It's because the settlement has changed the new standard of how we're going to do, work. Again, we're going from what we call an informal way of doing business to a very formal way of doing business. Now, if you ask me, when you go see a lawyer, you formalize the partnership or the collaboration of this business, right? They have you sign a contract, some even make you pay some kind of fee up front, right? From consultation fees to a retainer, right? To be able to work with this lawyer. Same thing with doctors. Doctors don't just see you, right? They charge insurances. They get paid up front, right? So it's the same thing. Everything's going from what we call an informal to a formal, especially on the buying side. Now, these changes affect more on the buying side than they do on the listing side, and we'll definitely get into it because we've always, on the listing side, had formal representation on the listing side. However, on the buying side, for a very long time, it was very informal. What that meant was that we informally say, hey, let's work together. And I would trust you. You would trust me that I will have, your fiduciary responsibility to protect you and give you advice, and that I can trust you to work with me all the way to the end so I can get a compensation from the listing side. So now what you're going to witness is a couple different things. Number one is that when you walk into an open house, when you make a phone call inquiring about your property, is that the response before was very, yes, what do you need? Let me tell you, let me show you around the home, let me tour you, right? Let me show you everything about this property, with the sense of getting you to what? Obviously work with me, give me more information so I can help you and guide you in the right direction, get you to like me, and most important, give me the opportunity to make a living. But now is when you walk in, our first question to you will be real simple. Do you currently have representation? Yes or no? The follow-up question will be, would you like to have formal representation, yes or no? Those are very important questions as we move into the new way of, or the new standard of real estate. And this is what came out of the NAR settlement, right? This is what came out of this lawsuit. Is this type of new behavior and standard that we have to go by. So I'm just here to inform you, give you my own interpretation of what I've seen and what I'm hearing. And again, guys, this is coming not just from one video, one sit down. There's definitely been a lot of talks, that we at EXP have, obviously been part of, to be in the forefront of, of this new way of doing real estate since last October. So a lot of the things that have come have either been, we've already been practicing, we've been out there, talking, we're already getting this type of data from people. So just know today's interpretation, just to give you guys an update, and it does not mean it will change, because it will change. It will change because interpretations, how the our legal forms are being set up right now. We're set up for the previous way of doing real estate, so they're all going to be transforming and changing and evolving into new forms. So I love to share this fact, even though I was in the real estate 40 years ago. If you ask an agent 40 years ago how they used to sell or buy or sell a home, it was a simple two-page contract. Now we have a 17-page contract plus a handful of disclosures. A handful. And I mean a stack. A stack of real estate disclosures, right? That we all have to go through and obviously explain and share with you and disclose with you, just because of how fast real estate has evolved. And it's going to continue to evolve. So number one thing is, we're going from what we call an informal way of doing business to a very formal way of doing business. So if you're out there looking for a home, you're looking to buy a home, you will need to formalize your representation. So what does that mean? That means a couple things for you as a buyer. That means that now you're not just now you're not just looking for a real estate agent that's going to open the door for you, or that maybe just does part-time real estate, because you have to formalize your representation. There's a cost, there's a compensation that you and your representation have to come into agreement with. Which means now, if you as a buyer are going to be paying for this representation, you're going to look for professionalism, experience, knowledge, expertise, leadership, and confidence in a lot of different ways, from communication to negotiation to understanding the process, and for a very long time, my own personal opinion is that, obviously, I was new at one point, but I did a lot of research, I did a lot of trainings, I did a lot of development to make sure that I can get to a place where people felt, very safe going through a real estate transaction, right? But throughout my process, right, I do see the lack of, of of our industry, or people in our industry not wanting to expand their experience and knowledge and put in the work that I myself, my team, my wife, and we all put into this business every day to bring a quality product for buyers, sellers, investors, and anybody who wants to do any type of real estate transaction, right? So now I feel that this will be part and will be measured. Now, as a buyer, you have to formalize, and you have to formalize it by coming to an agreement with their compensation. Now that you're going to pay for it, you're going to be looking, and I encourage you to look for what? Top-notch, high quality, value, experience, and most importantly, expertise, leadership, and confidence to be able to give you what you want. And obviously, there's a lot more things to that, from having somebody that is going to have the best interest for you, that can empathize with you, that understands, that feels and knows the buy process, knows how to negotiate, knows how to make sure that they fight for you, right? And that, to be honest, takes a special type of real estate agent, right? And that's what we will see. I feel we will see real estate agents struggle. We will see other people struggle with this, because now, it's not just writing up offers. First thing we have to do before giving you any type of information. Again, if you walking into a real estate office, if you're walking into an open house, if any type of interaction with the real estate agent, the first question you will receive or should receive is, do you have any type of formal representation? And number two is, would you like a formal representation, which will lead into what we call a buyer broker agreement of compensation. Now, it doesn't mean that you pay anything up front. It just means, hey, I am your real estate agent and I will be helping you through this entire process. Whether it's just the first part, second part, third part, which is the beginning, in the middle, or the end, it doesn't matter. It does not matter, right? If you want representation, if you want information, right, there has to be something established. And it's what we call formalizing an agreement. And that's from showing properties, even if it's just one, even if it's at an open house, if it's on the phone, an online inquiry, right? If it's us meeting at the Starbucks line, right? Now is before I can share information, before I give you anything, I need to be able to make sure that if this leads to something, right? Whether it's now in a year, 2 years, whenever, right? That there's a representation agreement, that you understand that there's a compensation involved for this. Now, there's obviously a lot of different things. I did say, if it takes a year, 2 years, whatever, there's a lot of things that, obviously these buyer broker agreements will have. That means that there are expiration dates on this compensation. Typically, they're going to be 3 months. That means that in 3 months, you and I legalize, let's just say we formalize our representation. That means that for 3 months, you and I are going to be working on, getting you in front of a lender, getting, talking to, your credit specialist, building up your credit, showing you properties. That may take that long process. Believe it or not, guys, it really takes, not everybody's ready to buy today. Either I always say the lines have to, the stars have to align for people to purchase a home right now. Typically it's savings. Typically it's, making sure that they're not too heavy in debt, making sure that their credit is right, that they have the work history, right? If it's two people, both people have to have all this stuff, right? So very few people are aligned, but it doesn't mean that means that they've been working on it for a while before they actually even inquire about buying a home. Very few. So in those 3 months, it just means, hey, we're working together to getting you to the end result, which is helping you find, submit offers, see homes, and obviously become a homeowner, right? Now, you're not tied down to these buyer broker agreements. What that means is it is a contract and it is an agreement. However, if you feel like your agent is not doing the service or is not doing the fiduciary responsibility to represent you, to help you, you can literally cancel. And a lot of these contracts will have cancellation costs, right? Which means, hey, here's my notice. I no longer want to work with you. Now there is what we call, 30-day cool off periods where, hey, I showed you properties, we did some work. If you decide not to use me, whatever, there's more details on that. Make sure that your agent is able to explain this. But there is cancellation rights and there's cancellation things. If you get stuck with an agent who just doesn't answer you, doesn't anything, you simply just got to tell them, hey, no longer want to work with you. And this ends our agreement, right? So make sure everything's in writing. We live in the state of California. That's how it works. Make sure everything is in writing, right? That's good. Number one. So potential doesn't mean that we can't extend it. That means that yes, if you're somebody that's going to take a little longer, we might extend that. After the 3 months, we might need 3 more months because, whatever reason, you need more time to repair credit, more time to saving. So these periods will be extended. Okay. Within these agreements, there's what we call exclusivity or non-exclusivity. What that means as a buyer, if you can work with agent to get information non-exclusively. That means that, hey, you're here at this open house today. I will give you a buyer representation compensation agreement. We can talk about this, but I want you to give me more information about this home. Non-exclusive just means that, hey, we're here today for this property. This is the only thing that I want to work with. Exclusivity just means that, hey, I picked you as my real estate agent. The difference, just like getting married, right? You're dating and you get married. When you're dating, you can see other people, right? Same thing with, non-exclusive. Is hey, we're dating. I can see other agents and I can see other homes with other agents. The non-exclusive just says, hey, I'm working with you, and the homes that you bring to me, I can go look at, and if I like, we'll submit and we'll work together on these homes, right? But doesn't mean that you can go and see the same homes with other agents. So just very specific there. And exclusivity just says, hey, I'm committing to you, right? I'm committed 100% for you to be my real estate agent because of the work, because I follow you on Instagram. I see what you do. You come recommend it. I work exclusivity. I want to make sure that you and I work together to get to this and to the very end. So just know that those are going to be the type of exclusivities. Now, obviously, same thing with the type of property that you buy, right? There's going to be a location on these contracts. What areas am I going to service you? This is an important part. For people who are moving to different areas, who use agents, maybe I live in Kern County, specifically here in Bakersfield, California. If you're a real estate agent out in LA and you have a family member that you want to represent here in Bakersfield, right? If you're a buyer who's using agents, maybe from your hometown, maybe an agent from a different place you follow them on social media, this is something to think about, because now you're paying a compensation for representation. You're going to want high quality service. That means that if you want somebody to come see you, to come show you, to be available to get you into your home, right? And you're using an agent from out of in an area, right? It makes it very difficult. Doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just makes it very difficult for an agent to come drive 2 hours, 3 hours, an hour and a half to come show you one property. So something to think about, right? Something to very think about. Just know that in these contracts, in these formal buyer broker agreements, there has to be a specific area. If it's the state of California, if it's Kern County, if it's, be very specific, right? Now, with that being said, it means you can have multiple buyer representation agreements, right? Just know that there's obviously consequences if those were to cross paths. What that means is you can have a buyer representation for an agent here in Kern County and have a buyer representation for an LA County. However, though, those cannot cross. What that means, you can't ask that buyer agent in Kern County to come to LA because you have one already there. Okay. But also there's non-exclusive options in there as well, which is also very important to understand. But you can also get very specific on the type of home that you're looking, from single family to duplexes to land to commercial to a lot of different things. So a lot of things, the actual broker agreement is going to have a lot of different things that we're going to have to cross off. Okay. And again, the most important part on this buyer broker agreement is being upfront about the compensation that your real estate agent is going to require from you. Now, obviously, compensation is going to be very different across the board. There's no standard. There's no industry standard, guys. I want to say that, and that's up for negotiation with you and your agent. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say about that. As we continue to look through this, is what if you're a buyer that doesn't have enough money to pay for a buyer real estate agent? That's also going to be part of the buyer broker agreement, right? Let's just say that you're somebody that's getting down payment assistance or have only enough for your down payment or closing costs, right? Just know that the buyer agent commission has just become part of your closing costs too. Before, in our regular market, you can always request a seller to help you with your closing costs, right? And the seller was able to assist you. Now you can include those type of compensations in those concessions. Okay, so don't feel that you cannot, right? Just because you're getting down payment assistance, or maybe don't have enough, money. There's ways around this stuff. Okay. And that's all part of the buyer broker agreement, and having somebody who's going to be able to explain this to you is going to be very super important. Obviously there's gonna be a lot of different, tactics in there, from, forms that you're gonna have to complete. There's gonna be single property broker, forms where I just want you to show me one property, right? So just guys, the whole goal of this is to make sure that obviously we're going to be going through a transition period, and that you guys understand that obviously the standards of our industry is going to be changing, and how we communicate this, we're still all trying to learn and figure out the best, but doesn't excuse obviously delivering great service to everybody. So as you guys are walking out and doing search and looking for properties, making sure that you have a real estate company, agent team that's constantly understanding how to protect you in all the best ways will be very important in this new way of how we obviously move into real estate. But the only thing that I've noticed, and the biggest thing on the business side, is that now we just have to be very specific about the compensation. Everything's on the table and everything's up for negotiations, and it's going to be very formal. That's on the buying side. On the selling side, is no longer, the settlement was all about, sellers paying, obviously commissions to buyer brokers and obviously their own agent as well. Now, as a listing agent, you're only going to focus on, your compensation as a listing agent. Now, as a selling agent or as a listing agent or even as a seller, just know that you will receive offers that might ask for concessions to help you for sellers. So just know that everything's going to be on the table now. Even though you think that, this settlement maybe helped you as a seller, it did. However, now it's just everything on the table. And if you have offers, and if you only have one offer and you really need to sell your home, you're going to have to consider the offer, right? It's all about having strong agents and with strong negotiating skills, walking you, navigating you through this, right? The most important key for as a real estate agent is to making sure that you have an agent who can educate you on the entire process, especially with the new changes of what are your options as a seller and as a buyer. Okay, that's going to be very important that you look at those things and say, okay, which agent can explain to me the entire process, the entire, process with the new changes, and how they're going to benefit me as a consumer, to have my best interest to either buy or sell, invest, or whatever it is. Okay, so a lot of different forms, a lot of different new things are going to be happening. Yes, there's going to be new forms that you're going to have to sign that you probably weren't used to signing. Probably forms that you weren't even, why do I have to do this now? I didn't do that before. You're right. A lot of those things will happen. New sign-in sheets of how when you sign into an open house, right? Having agents who might just say, hey, you don't sign anything, I don't want to help you. Sorry, look around by yourself. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of different changes in how the real estate feels. But just know this is just the result of this settlement. And this has nothing to do with, people. It has everything to do with obviously protection of future lawsuits. This is just a protection of saying, okay, how can we still do what we've done? So like for me, like what can I continue doing, what I've done for so many years, my wife and I and my team, and deliver great service, help people as much as we could in different ways from different aspects, right? And include this into the new standard and expectation. Trust me, we're working on those right now to be able to continue to do that. And might rub you off in the wrong way. However, just know that understands it comes from this place of the result of the settlement that we have to protect everybody. Because yes, guys, we are being shopped. That means that real estate agents are being tested. There's people out there, going to, open houses, going to, making phone calls, doing all these things to try to get you to mess up, to get you to, to turn you into the NAR, because right now it's so live. Everybody wants to know about this. So just stay tuned as we continue to bring you more on these things. The way that we sell real estate on the listing side is, if anything, more transparent for you as a seller. However, though, is you're going to need people who can really do the work. And on the buying side, you're going to make sure that you want somebody who can be transparent, disclose everything to you, share as much information, and educate you through the entire process, to make sure that they know exactly, how they're going to be able to show you their benefit. And just know that this representation is a must moving forward. On the buying side is a must. And on the listing side, just know that you're going to receive offers requesting for more concessions. So it's just know that certain words have changed, and how we're going to attach is going to be very important. So stay tuned. Please click on the follow button. Continue to, if you have any questions about this and how it can affect you. If you're thinking about buying and selling, this is your opportunity to reach out to us directly through a DM. Give us a call at 661-805-8804. If you're a buyer or seller, we would love to give you more information on how to navigate through today's real estate market after this settlement. And we want to make sure you can visit our website at homeexpansion.com. That's homeexpansion.com. Visit our website, get to know us a little bit. That way, when you reach out to us, you know that we are the team for you. We want to make sure that we educate you and give you more information. So I want to thank everybody for jumping on, staying tuned. If you have any questions, down in the comment section, same thing here, hit the follow button, continue to, stay with us. I'm excited about continuing to do real estate, and my wife and I, and continue to be part of the one of the most transformative journeys in a lot of people's life, which is the home buying process. So thank you for your time. Have an amazing day. We'll see you guys next time.